In the African nation of Nigeria, millions of Christians are persecuted by Islamic terror groups. The Nigerian government is doing very little to stop the attacks. Well, now religious freedom advocates, including one member of the U.S. Congress, are taking action. CBN's Kelly Wright has this look at the crisis.
On this very day, 210 persons were slaughtered in one night, in less than 24 hours.
The video from the Father's Day massacre includes graphic images of people being burned alive, families attacked, and homes destroyed in Yelawata, Nigeria.
That very day, it was raining, so planning herdsmen, they invaded the community and claimed so many lives.
Around 12 midnight, we started having calls from Yelawata that the Fulanis have come and they are killing, burning.
Friday night, I was sleeping in my house. See my house there. I come here, they shoot gun. Later, they come, they break this house. Where my brother is sleeping here with his children. Thereby, they come, they kill people. They were breaking the house. Say, Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar.
These first-hand accounts gathered by Truth Nigeria journalists describe the ongoing atrocities in a terror campaign to eradicate Nigeria's Christians. Judd Saul, filmmaker and missionary, the organizer of equipping the persecuted, highlighted this documentary as a way to sound the alarm.
We need to fight this thing threefold. One, America as a government needs to get involved with a very little. I'm talking very little of our resources. If we just did the very little bit of push an aggressive foreign policy, throw some sanctions, whatever it takes, I think we can put a significant dent in this and put a stop to this.
U.S. Representative Chris Smith of New Jersey, who has traveled to many dangerous areas in Nigeria, has introduced a resolution in Congress to help stop attacks fueled by religious hatred.
There has been an exponential increase in attacks on Christians and some Muslims, but Christians in particular. Protestants, evangelicals, Catholics, they're firebombing their churches. The Fulani are killing them with absolute impunity. We've called on the government in Abuja and the president several times to do what governments do, law enforcement. Use the military if you have to, but stop this genocide and do it now.
The resolution points to Nigeria's government's apparent open border policy that allows almost free access to the country. Fulani militants and ISIS-linked extremist groups from neighboring countries take advantage of this policy to carry out mass murder, rape, and kidnappings.
We're also calling on President Trump to reissue, which he did in his first term, the designation of country of particular concern, and that then gives the president wide latitude to impose sanctions. It's an excellent bill when it's used properly. It gets the attention of all the policymakers, in this case in Abuja. It says, we're not kidding.
During a White House press briefing, I asked Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt about the crisis in Nigeria. And do you know if there's any action that the president will take?
I'm not tracking a call between the president and the head of Nigeria. I know the president wholeheartedly condemns the persecution of Christians or, frankly, of people of any faith all over the world, but I don't have any updates for you in terms of sanctions in this part of the world.
Looking beyond any government response, Judd Saul is calling on the church and Christians in America to stand with the persecuted in Nigeria.
They need to pray. They need to be a voice for the voiceless. They need to be a voice for our persecuted brothers and sisters.
Kelly Wright.
Hey guys, this is not the video I wanted to make today, but I have to. My heart is heavy. My spirit is tired because my fellow human beings, my fellow Nigerian Christians are bleeding and the world is silent about it. There is a Christian genocide happening in Nigeria right now. And just like the targeted killings of white farmers in South Africa, I call it a silent genocide. A silent genocide because it is being kept under wraps by not giving it enough coverage and by referring to it as ritual killings or some other trivializing terms. I am angry right now, guys. but I am also devastated. And as a Christian and as someone who refuses to stay silent while innocent people are being slaughtered like animals, I have to bring it to your attention. Guys, what I'm trying to bring to your attention is serious. I know you might not understand how serious this is because I'm not going to be showing you a lot of visual representation of this situation in order to avoid problems with this platform. But believe me, this is a very serious matter, okay? I'm not talking about random killings, okay? And I am not talking about conflicts between farmers and herders. I am talking about targeted, premeditated religious violence against Christians in Nigeria, which is being carried out strategically and purposefully by Islamic terrorists in Nigeria. The Boko Haram Islamic terrorists, the ISWAP, which stands for so-called Islamic State West African Province, as well as the Fulani militants, okay? These are all Islamic terror groups maiming and killing Nigerian Christians in Nigeria. Just in the last year alone, nearly 5,000 Christians were murdered in Nigeria, and that is just the ones we know. Since 2009, over 50,000 Christians have been killed, 5 million have been displaced, 18,000 churches burned to the ground, okay? 2,200 Christian schools destroyed, entire families wiped off the face of the planet in one night, little children burned alive in churches, pastors kidnapped, tortured, beheaded. This is not a war, okay? It is a genocide going on in Nigeria. These radical Islamist terror groups are targeting non-Muslims, okay? Specifically Christians. They enter Christian villages at the night, kill, burn, destroy. They force conversions at gunpoint, and if you refuse to renounce your faith, you die. Simple. Don't let them tell you this is about land. Don't let them hide behind headlines like communal clashes or ethnic tension, okay? This has nothing to do with tribal quarrels over land. This is purely religious cleansing. This is what ethnic genocide looks like in 2025. Because I've seen many people claiming that this is just a land dispute. It is not. This is the lie that keeps getting recycled in the media, in UN briefings, in government press releases. These are just farmer herder clashes. It is about resource competition. Climate change is shrinking grazing land. It is not religious. Do not politicize it. That is the official narrative. It sounds neutral. It sounds logical, even academic, but it is a smoke screen. And here is why, okay? What is really happening? Christians are being exterminated, and land is just the cover story. Yes, land plays a role, but land is not the motive. It is just the means. The deeper truth is this, guys. Radical Islamist militias are using land conflict as an excuse to wipe out Christian communities, to drive them out and claim their land as part of a broader Islamic expansionist agenda. This is what survivors are saying. This is what bishops, human rights groups, and even military insiders have confirmed, okay? They attack at night. They scream Allahu Akbar. They burn churches, not mosques. They behead pastors, not imams. They spare Muslim neighbors, okay? They force conversions or they kill. That is not a land dispute. That is not random conflict. That is a religious-driven genocide, okay? The communal clashes myth is a weapon of silence. Whereas like clashes and conflict implies something mutual, okay? Like both sides are fighting equally. Like this is just messy, unfortunate violence between rival groups. But that is not the truth, okay? This is not a war. It is a massacre. It is one-sided. It is targeted. And the victims are disproportionately, overwhelmingly Christian. Calling this genocide tribal clashes is just another form of sanitized violence. It hides the truth. It comforts governments. It confuses international community. And worst of all, it blames the victims. Because if you can convince the world that this is just about land or local disputes, you don't have to call it what it is, which is genocide, okay? You don't have to send aid. You don't have to sanction Nigeria. You don't have to act. You just wait until the last village is wiped out. Boko Haram have openly stated their goals: to wipe out Christianity from Nigeria and to replace the government with an Islamic caliphate. Fulani militants armed with AK-47s are attacking Christian villages in the Middle Belt, burning down homes, slaughtering civilians, and driving survivors off their ancestral land. In states like Plateau, Benue, Kaduna, Borno, the attacks have become so frequent that people have stopped reporting the attacks. In one 72-hour period this year, over 200 Christians were massacred in Plateau State in 72 hours. Entire communities disappeared overnight. Pregnant women, elderly, and children are not spared, okay? Churches are set ablaze during Sunday services while people are still inside. And you know what's even more horrifying? We know exactly who is doing this, and yet nothing is done. The Nigerian government is not just failing, it is complicit in this genocide. It is complicit by being silent, and in some cases, by its actions or lack of them. It is enabling the slow, methodical eradication of Christian communities, okay? The Nigerian government knows who is doing this. They know. They have identified the perpetrators, yet they do not do anything to stop them. In most cases, when these heartless terrorists are apprehended by local vigilantes, they are being jailed for a few months and then released back out into the society again by the Nigerian government, giving them a new name, repentant criminals, claiming that they have been rehabilitated and they now have repented from all their killings. These are terrorists that killed multiple people. Can you imagine that, guys?
One of these problems we are having in the armed forces today is because we give the enemies chance to outsmart us. The 48 Laws of Power, number 22, page 163, says, use the surrender tactics to transform weakness into power. Now, you send our soldiers to battlefield, and along the line of the battle, the soldiers overpowered the bandits or the Boko Haram. Because they have been overpowered, they now applied the 48 Laws of Power by surrendering. Now, the soldiers now applied the military rules of engagement and decided not to fire them because they have surrendered. At this stage, they got them arrested in order to investigate them and get more of their secrets. Now, instead of focusing on getting their secrets, the government now retained them and said they are repented Boko Haram. You enroll them into the army, you are paying them salary and train them, giving them more secrets of the soldiers. And by the time they got the power, they will reinforce more and come back for you because of what? They already know your.
So it is safe to say that the Nigerian government is even protecting these Islamic terrorists, seeing as the past and even current presidential cabinet are all Muslims. Okay? Because here is the thing, guys. If the Nigerian military knows where Boko Haram camps are, if they know which forests Fulani militants are using, if we have drone surveillance and air power, and mind you, the Nigerian government has all of this information and all of these resources, then why are these terrorists still roaming free? Why has the Nigerian government refused to label Fulani militias as terrorists, even after countless mass killings? Why do we have thousands of soldiers and police harassing peaceful protesters in the South? Okay, the South is non-Muslim, vastly Christian. Why are they harassing peaceful protesters in the South, but they are somehow overwhelmed when it comes to hunting down killers in the North? The Nigerian government say they are fighting terror, but every time Christians are butchered, there is silence. There is no justice, no arrest, no retaliation. Just statements like, we are investigating or we regret the loss of lives. I also have to hold the international community accountable, guys. Everyone is crickets about this silent genocide going on in Nigeria. But let us be honest. If the victims were Muslims, if the attackers were Christians, if this was happening in France or the US or in Palestine, this would be international news. There would be outrage, hashtags, sanctions, UN meetings. But because it is happening in Nigeria to poor rural Christians at the hands of Islamic extremists, it is ignored. Western media won't call it genocide because they are afraid of offending Islamic groups. They would rather use words like conflict or tension. Western governments, especially in Europe, are too busy trying to appease Islamic regimes. And unfortunately, some African leaders would rather protect their international image than protect their people. Christian persecution does not fit the narrative of the global elite, so it is ignored. Guys, now that you've heard what is happening, now that you've heard the truth, this is what you can do to help. Please Now, this is not a command, okay? It is not by force. It is a plea from a human being to another human being. Humanity needs your help, guys. Please raise awareness, share this video, post about it, break the silence, contact your leaders, call your local representatives, demand that your government pressure Nigeria to act, okay? Also, support Christian advocacy groups like Open Doors, Christian Solidarity, Worldwide International, Christian Concern. All these groups are on the front lines, okay? Again, also pray, but also speak, because faith without action is dead. The world will not know unless we raise our voices. If you are a Christian watching this now, remember, those people that are being killed are your brothers and your sisters. If one part of the body suffers, we all suffer. What is happening in Nigeria right now is a war on Christianity. It is a religious genocide carried out by Islamic extremists, tolerated by negligent government, and ignored by a cowardly world, okay? But I would not be silent. It wouldn't be today, and it's not going to be ever, because silence is not peace. Silence is complicity, which I would never condone. As always, guys, these are my thoughts and my opinions. Please feel free to share yours in the comment section below, but do so respectfully. Also, if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, honestly, I don't know what you're waiting for. Subscribe to the channel. Like and share this video to keep people informed, and consider joining my membership or supporting the channel in any way that you can. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope to catch you on the next time. For now, peace.